Hey, what's happening? Coach Carroll here. Hope you're doing well. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the tools of the wealthy. That's right, the wealthy people in this world and the tools that they use to not only grow wealth, but to also protect their wealth. You know, my man Brandon May reached out to me and he said, DJ, what's some ways that I can protect my cash flow? And what's some ways that I can reinvest that money? And so I wanted to cover a few of those things with you today, because often as entrepreneurs and salespeople, we wind up making money, right? That's the whole point of this. But I want to give you a couple of things that you can use in order to be able to maximize that wealth and that income and that money. And also some tricks that I know that I've learned from some very wealthy people. So, you know, when you have income, and it's important that you understand the difference on how income is generated and how taxes are given to you by the government or placed on you, taken from you by the government. But first, I have to give you kind of this notion that, you know, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax advisor, but these are things that I've learned and implement regularly, okay? And so the first thing you have to realize is that when you're a wealthy person, we got two people here. We got wealthy and we got poor people. Now, I don't mean that in a condescending term, poor people, but I hope that's not backwards. It looks like it is. Hopefully the camera will fix this. But when you're wealthy, you basically have money that is made, right? A lot of times this is in your business. You then get to spend that money on expenses. Whatever's left over is then taxed. Okay, so that's basically how wealthy people make money. They make their money through businesses, business entities, much like you. If you're an entrepreneur watching this video, you're going to make money, you get to spend the money, and then you get taxed on what's left over. A lot of times this leftover here is what people call profit. Now, we'll get to profit in just a second. There's a couple things I really want to inform you about, but let's finish out this scenario here. So the other thing you've got to look at here is poor people normally make their money, right? You get a paycheck. It's then taxed. Social Security, your income taxes, your, I don't know, whatever all the other payroll taxes are. And then you get what's left over, and then you spend that. So the challenge becomes, and I had to talk with my dad the other day about this. It's like this scenario where once a week, if you work a job, you get a W-2, a regular income. You work a job. You basically, the government shows up on Friday and says, "Hey, bitch, how much money did you make?" And you go like, "Oh, I made $1,000." He's like, "Give me 30% of that," right? And so like, you got to give him the money, because that's just how the tax code's written. When you're getting paid every week, you pay your payroll taxes, and they normally take somewhere between 20 and 30% out of your money. Now, here's the challenge with that, is that the dude shows back up again next Friday, and the Friday after that, and the Friday after that, on and on and on for the next 2,000 years. That's why it's very difficult to build wealth when you're working a job, when you have money coming in through a W-2, right? Now, it's not possible. There's many wealthy people out there that have jobs. A sales position may be one of those, but it's very lucrative for you to start an LLC of some sort, to have some sort of a business, so that you can take advantage of making money, expensing it out, and then paying your taxes on what's left over. Because here's how business works. I'm going to make money all year long from April 15th to April 15th. And once a year, the government comes up to me and he says, "Hey, man, how much money did you make in the past 12 months? I show him my documents that I have, my tax forms and everything. I said, "I didn't make anything." He says, "Okay, fair enough. You don't owe any taxes." Well, is it really true that I didn't make anything? No. The fact is that I grossed plenty. I've got multiple businesses that make over 6 figures a year. My very first startup, you guys may know this from the channel, started my first business with $300 as a lawn and landscape company, grew it over $3 million. That was my first business. And that's where I learned a lot of this stuff. I learned it from trial and error, from mentors, and a lot of these books that you see back here behind me. So I make my money for 12 months, and for 12 months, I get to spend that money. I can spend it as much as I want. As long, here's the trick, you make sure that it's pre-tax expenses. What do I mean by pre-tax expenses? These are things like advertising, things like office rental, things like travel, things like vehicles, things like meals. I get to spend money on all of this, and I pay taxes on what's left over. So, my man Brandon, he's like, how do I protect my cash flow? Don't protect it, man. Spend it. Because what happens is, I see so many businesses that are like, oh, I'm profiting 30%, I'm profiting 60%, 70%. Listen, if you profit that much money, the government is going to come in and take 30% of it if you're a US-based citizen. It's actually like, I don't know, I guess it's like 21% now. But take advantage of all these expenses, because whatever's left over, these profits, as they say, it's taxes. Now, here's the challenge. There's a book out there called Profit First, and I don't know the author personally, but I think it's a terrible book. It's a terrible book because this guy tells you, make your money and instantly go set aside a certain number of dollars to be your profit. Are you kidding me? Why in Sam Hill would you want to set aside 20, 30% of your income? You're going to pay taxes on this. Now, here's the only time that this makes sense. Is if there's a couple times. There's a couple times to have big profit. One is if you need a loan. Mentor told me one time, you can screw your banker or you can screw the government, but you can't screw them both. And so if you need a loan from a bank, you need to be borrowing money, right? Raising debt in order to operate and grow your business, which I'm totally for. I'm not against that. Then you're going to have to show some profit. A lot of people don't realize is, though, there's ways to show little profit on your P&L, your taxable income, but then actually show profit to your bank. One of which being these vehicles right here. A vehicle has a thing called a 179 deduction. I've got another video here on YouTube if you want to check that out. You can look at it, but it's a 179 deduction. It allows you to depreciate the full cost of the vehicle. So what that means is if Coach here has $34,000 in profit, and I buy a $34,000 vehicle, technically I have profit, but I can utilize a 179 deduction to cross out my profit. Now, when the bank looks at my taxes, he's going to say, okay, yeah, DJ, I'll just add back in this depreciation. Shows you got $34,000 last year in net income. Good job. But my taxable income would effectively be zero. Okay? Is that making sense? If it makes sense to you, leave a comment. And if you're liking this video, like it and share it. Like it and share it. So this is the wealth creation formula, right? You have to make money, spend the money, and then get paid tax on what's left over. And so for my buddy Brandon May, what I would tell him is that find as many pre-tax expenses as possible. Zap that cash flow out, man. And this is why having a highly profitable business is nice, is because you can add on more pre-tax expenses. Okay. So pre-tax expenses. Pre-tax expenses, number one. the challenge with investing, and hopefully I can, and I see you guys, there's a couple people on here live. We're doing this live right now. So hopefully if you have any questions, oh, here we go. Turn on the live. Say hi over here in the comments. If you have any questions, let me know. But this is the wealth creation formula: is being able to make money, expense it, and get taxed on what's left over. And taking advantage of pre-tax expenses. The next thing is taking advantage of tax shelters. Now, and again, I'm not a CPA. I'm not here to give you investing advice or anything like that. These are simply views from my experience and to help my buddy Brandon out with his question. Tax shelters are things like Roth IRAs. It's places that you can put pre-tax dollars. Again, pre-tax expenses, pre-tax investments, anything that you can do pre-tax. Because here's the challenge, is that we're looking at a new place this afternoon, and it's going to cost about $60,000 a year to rent. But the fact of the matter is like, what can I do with that $60,000? Because in all reality, if I take this $60,000 that I have and I say, well, I'm not going to spend it on this new place. I'm going to go buy more real estate, right? I'm going to go buy more rental property. And I personally have a little over 70 units myself. And so this is what I've learned, is that the government's not going to let you make money, spend it, take the leftovers and invest it and then pay taxes. It doesn't work like that. They're like, no. That's too many benefits. So they've nexted that. So what happens is when you invest in real estate and things like that, those are going to be what they call post-tax dollars. And so if I wanted to go buy a rental property and I say, hey, this $60,000 would be better invested going over here making me more money. What's going to happen is I'm going to take that $60,000. It's going to get taxed at a rate, let's call it 20%. For easy math, that's $18,000 that I'm going to lose right off the top. Okay, I'm going to be left with, what is it? $52,000, $62,000. No math in my head here, is what I'm going to be left with to then go invest and try to make more money. And some people would say, well, that's the smart thing to do, DJ. Pay your taxes, go invest, keep folding your money over. My thing is this. A business, this little buddy right here, can generate my cash faster than an investment property can. So at the age of 30, I've got some real estate. I'm diverse a little bit, but I would much rather keep the money inside of my business and work from a cash flow standpoint. So hopefully that's making sense. Okay, so tax shelters, pre-tax shelters, pre-tax dollar shelters, and pre-tax expenses. Now, the other thing I want to share with you guys today is, what Brandon's next question was, is he's like, how do I invest this money? Like, what's my best moves to invest? And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm running through a scenario with you on why I'm a fan of renting your lifestyle and buying assets. Okay, so an asset is something that generates revenue. That's how rich people look at assets. They generate revenue. Now, if it doesn't generate revenue, it's not an asset. Simply put, plain and simple, it's as black and white as the ink on this paper. Okay, you have to start understanding and looking at this from the standpoint of that if you're not generating revenue off of a thing, then it's not an asset. It's an expense. It's not a liability. Okay. Looks like we got a question here. How are you doing? Just want to say I'm a huge supporter. You're a huge reason why I'm starting a pressure washing, softening washing business here in Michigan. Awesome, man. Love to hear that. Congratulations on your journey into entrepreneurship. So, I've been super busy, and I'm hoping to get more content out like this to you guys, because I know that you're out there, and it just feels lonely, right? When you're starting a business, it's like nobody believes in you. Everybody's trying to tell you 10 different reasons why it won't work. And that's why one of the core philosophies of entrepreneurship, I truly believe, is believing in yourself when nobody else will. Because until you believe in yourself, how can you expect anybody else to? So keep the hustle alive. I love that. Congratulations to you. So let's get back to this. Assets. Assets and liabilities. Liabilities. No revenue. So pretty simple, right? If it's an asset, it creates revenue. If it's a liability, it doesn't create revenue. Novel idea, novel concept, right? Super hard to follow. So stick with me here. So the challenge is, what do most broke people see, right? They look at their house. Little door here, a couple little windows, right? A little chimney, maybe they got a fireplace. Right? They look at their house and they say, that's an asset. It's my asset. I live here. It's, I got equity in it. But does it generate you any revenue? It doesn't. It generates bank revenue. Because the revenues generated from this house are in the form of interest to the bank that you borrowed the money from to buy the thing that doesn't make you any money. Okay? How about a car? You guys are going to get like a little drawing session with Coach Carroll here, did you? Yeah, definitely not a sports car, family car, little sedan here. Yeah, for the family to get into, go on vacations. Your car, unless you're using it in the format of a business, is a liability, not an asset. It's going to cost you money, and it depreciates. What are some other things you can think of? How about a boat? Out for a day of fishing, right? A boat, again, doesn't generate you income. So it's not an asset. It's considered a liability. Now, I'm not telling you not to have a boat, right? I'm not saying that. If you can pay cash for your consumer goods, by all means, you've hustled, it's worth it. You should spend the money and enjoy yourself. But you have to understand that this is what we were taught in school. Go to college, get a good job, pay your taxes every Friday, go out and buy consumer stuff and pretend that it's assets when it's really not. Now, I don't know if you're like me. I dropped out of college 3 semesters in. I failed kindergarten, 2nd grade. They told me I had a learning disability. Arrested twice by age 23. Everything that I learned, I won't say everything, okay, because 2 + 2 = 4. You put $2 together, you got $4. You're adding money. Like some of the stuff they taught us, some of the generic stuff they taught us was good, but the challenge is most of the shit that they taught us in school is absolutely wrong when you're trying to build wealth. So here's Coach Carroll's philosophy. Draw this out for you. Your lifestyle meaning how you live, what you want your life to be like, where you want to live. I'm in my condo here in downtown Louisville, the vehicles I drive, all of that. Whatever your vision is for your lifestyle, I truly believe you should rent it, not buy it. You should rent it, not buy it. And I'm going to walk you through a simple mathematical equation that will prove this to you, okay? Say you want to buy a $1.5 million place. A $1.5 million place. You're like, I'm going to buy this place. It's going to be fantastic, okay? This $1.5 million place, because it is a jumbo loan, you're going to have 20% down, which equals 300K. So out of your pocket, you've got to spend $300,000. Now, with that, you're going to still have about 1.2 million in a loan. It's going to cost you roughly $6,200 a month, give or take $1,000 with taxes and insurance. So now you're at $6,200 a month, $300,000. There are, right now in my market in Louisville, Kentucky, there are 3 places that are $1 million locations that you can rent for $5,000. This is about $2,000 cheaper per month than owning a place, because you got to think, you still got upkeep, maintenance, all that kind of stuff. $5,000 a month, sink breaks. I'm just going to call the guy and tell him to fix it. No out-of-pocket money. I'm also keeping $300,000 in my pocket. Here's what I could do with that $300,000 that I'm keeping in my pocket. Because what most people say is, oh, DJ, you're just throwing away $60,000 a year. No, my friend, I'm not. I'm saving $300,000, and instantly I'm upgrading my lifestyle. $300,000 at a 20% down payment would buy you $1.5 million in real estate. Multifamily, storage units, doesn't matter, some type of a real estate, or even better, you could just go put that $300,000 into your business. On real estate, you're going to earn somewhere between, these numbers are depends on the type of property you invest in, somewhere between 6 to 15% return on your money on this $300,000 that you invested. Here's the challenge with that. I know I could put it in my business, probably earn 30%. Easy. The return on investment of ad spend and things like that. So the challenge is, when you're looking to buy places like this, here's the other thing. The only time I'm okay with buying your primary residence is if you're truly going to stay there for the next 20 to 30 years and see that appreciation. But statistics just show us that that's not true. Most people spend on average about 7 years in the place that they live. And with millennials, this younger generation, we're moving faster and more than ever. Our average, we stay in our places normally around 3.5 years. So it only makes sense to rent your lifestyle, buy it. And so I truly believe that. I truly do. Hopefully I'm not making anybody. Let's check here. WNC Wash Pro, you're still offering coaching for one-on-one businesses. That's the truth. Keith Calvin, yeah, I mentioned this in a video. Yeah, Keith gets it. He understands because listen, guys, this isn't anything new. This is a wealth formula. This is what wealthy people do. This is how you make money. This is how you protect your money. It's how you best invest your money. It's not something new. People have been doing this for literally thousands of years. We covered a lot of stuff today. And look, I know this is a lot, and I know that when Brandon asked me to do this, I sent him a message. I was like, "Hey man, I'm in the studio, shoot a video with some information I could help you with." He's protecting cash flow and reinvesting. I was like, "This is great," because a lot of people need to see this information, and hopefully by seeing it in multiple places, you realize that it's true and it works, right? And I know we covered a lot, and so the idea is none of this works unless you can make money, right? Unless you can earn an income by selling a product, service, or offering. I prefer service businesses. Product businesses, there's a lot of guys out there selling the dream e-com and drop shipping and things like this. The challenge with that is that you got to have money for inventory. Chargebacks will kill you, and returns will just absolutely put you under. So I like a service business, and that's what all of my businesses are, aside from my real estate company. So my ad tech company is essentially a service business. Easy Pro, my exterior cleaning company, that's a service business. And essentially real estate is a service business as well. I'm serving the client by letting them rent my property. But you can't do that unless you know how to sell. And so Brandon didn't ask me to cover this, but I'm going to cover this. This is some stuff that I teach in SEU, which is Sales Excellence University. Excuse me. And you may or may not have heard about Sales Excellence University. It's not relevant at this point, but this is something that I teach you inside of there. And when you're just starting out in business, or when you're trying to grow your business and you don't have a lot of dollars, cold calling is hands down the best way to generate revenue when you're in a pinch, when your back's up against the wall. It's what I did in my first business. You know, I started with $300, Walmart weed eater, Walmart push mower, started mowing grass. And, you know, I did it by cold calling. Knocking on doors is a form of cold calling. Picking up the phone is a form of cold calling. I have a video here on the channel that's basically how to make the perfect cold call. So I won't go into that, but you have to understand, to take advantage of all of this stuff, you have to learn how to sell, because it's very difficult to start a business if you have no ability to sell. And I would say it's damn near impossible. You know, most businesses, they say 90% of businesses go out of business due to bad management practices. That's not true. 90% of businesses go out of business because they run out of money. And money comes into the business through learning how to sell. Okay? So I want you really to shift your focus for this next quarter that's coming up. You know, the Q2 time that's the spring. And that's the Bible has told us that, and I'm by no stretch of the imagination a theologian or a Bible study master, I'm sure you can tell, but the Bible tells us that when the springtime comes, you got to take full advantage of it. And most of us don't. Most of us sit back and we relax. And then it comes harvest time in the fall, and we want to complain about our harvest. So I'd encourage you that your Q2 focus should really be to get on it. I mean, get after it and sell, 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 sell. Because with your business, nothing's going to change until you do. You have to change your activities. You've got to change your mindset. You've got to change the way that you've been operating, right? Einstein says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. So you've got to be willing to change that. And so if you look down in the comments, description somewhere, I've got my cold calling course down there that you can check out for free. It's a free webinar. It's about 70 minutes that I put together a few years ago on cold calling. And if you're interested in SEU, you can check out more of that at salesexcellenceuniversity.org. It's a free lesson on there. Cop in, tons of content. I go super deep on a lot of different things on sales related. But that concludes today's training. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you understand how wealthy people are making money and continue to stay rich, how they use tax benefits to avoid overtaxation. And I'd urge you that if you like this video, to click the thumbs up, like it and share it, and like it and share it out to your friends and your family, other entrepreneurs that you may know. So thanks for spending a little bit of time with me here today, this afternoon, this evening, whenever time you may be watching. That's the great thing about these videos. It's my mission as being Coach Carroll to help entrepreneurs, and we do that through things like Sales Excellence University, my live public speaking engagements. And so if you have somewhere that you'd like me to speak at, feel free to reach out to me as well. But leave me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was from today's training. And with that being said, we'll see you guys real soon. Take care.